Get in, losers. Today we've got a special bonus episode for you guys. I'm Kylie, joined by the Damien to my Janice, Amber.
Hi guys.
And if you haven't figured it out already or read the title, we're talking about Mean Girls. We decided to just let this be its own little bonus episode. So we both watched the new one. It's available for streaming on Paramount Plus now. And I told Amber, like, let's not discuss this at all. Let's save it for the podcast.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I have no idea what you're thinking, and I have a few notes. I definitely have a few notes.
Save.
Okay.
And I'm kind of like all over. So I thought we should probably talk about when we first heard about this movie, what our thoughts were first before
Yeah.
we watched it. Do you want to
Okay.
go first?
Yeah, I can go first. Okay, so I will say I was initially excited because I thought it was going to be a whole new movie, but same concept, kind of like when
Mhm.
they did Mean Girls 2, but like
Okay,
more
yeah.
modern day, you know? So I was excited. That was my initial thought. What about you?
Oh my gosh. So I had like quite a few thoughts. So I was so against Mean Girls 2 when that came out.
Yeah,
So
of course.
against it. And you can't top the original. And even when they announced that Mean Girls was going to be a musical on Broadway, I had thoughts against that too. But for some reason, I don't know if it was because you and I had just started recording for this podcast. So we're kind of in our nostalgia and we had started our social medias for this already. And so it was something to post about. I don't know if it was that or just because the Walmart commercials had come out too. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I was actually like, oh, I'm excited. I knew obviously it wasn't going to live up to the original,
Yeah.
but I don't know, I was, like, willing to give it a chance. And I remember when
Yeah.
we posted the trailer, we got so much hate on our TikTok, like, I'm talking hundreds of comments. I had to turn the comments off. They were so negative, and I swear to God, it was, like, bots because we kept getting them just saying "dog shit," and I haven't heard that word since, like, 8th grade. So, I think they were bots, but we were getting attacked.
You would have thought we made the Walmart commercial ourselves.
No, this wasn't the Walmart commercial, this was the
Oh, I
trailer
mean
for
the
the
trailer, I'm
movie.
sorry, not the Walmart
Oh.
commercial, the official trailer. Sorry, I mixed them
I was
up
like,
because we
people love
posted
that one.
both. We posted
Yeah.
both, sorry.
But, yeah, we got so much hate for that, and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, this isn't even the Mean Girls account, this is a little rinky dink Posh and Plastic account, like, why are you guys attacking? It's not our movie." That was I was like, "Give it a chance at least, like, let's not hate on it before it even comes out," because that was, like, November, I think.
Yeah, and it was November because I remember that was when everyone yeah, it was. I was hopeful as well as excited. I wanted it to be standalone. I knew like you said, I knew it wasn't gonna ever
Mhm.
hold up to the original. Mean Girls 2 definitely didn't do that, though. I will say I watched it at one point on Freeform, AKA ABC
Yeah.
Family back in the day. Um, but because I had heard, like, Tina Fey was the one who was also, reproducing, and it was her writing again and stuff, and I really loved the original, so I was hopeful that it was gonna stand justice because of that as well.
Yeah, that's a good point I forgot to mention. Yeah, with Tina Fey backing it, it had my support, and Tim Meadows was going to be, Mr. Duval as well.
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, it can't be that bad."
That's what I'm saying. They got some of those people. So I was like, okay, this should be interesting. S-
Yeah.
So those were
So,
the
okay.
initial thoughts.
Yeah, so now that you've seen it, what do you think?
Okay. So I have so many thoughts. I have so many. So first off, I have to say, like, I think the biggest thing is it's a musical, right? I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people pretended like they didn't know it was going to be a musical. They did a pretty good job of letting everyone know it was going to be a musical. If you didn't know, I feel like that's kind of your fault.
Right.
So, with that being said, though, I hate that it was a musical. And it's not because it was a musical. I feel that the production of the musical they created was better for a Broadway production. I don't think this was good for a motion picture film. I think it made it kind of
Okay.
crazy.
For me, I felt that that aspect took the cuntiness out of what Mean Girls is. I feel like Mean
Yes.
Girls is a very cunty movie, and I love that that's a term now.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm so glad that you used it because you're so right.
But yeah, it kind of took away from that. Like, there's just all this like dry, real humor in that movie, and then them singing these. They could have changed the style of the music, maybe and
Yeah.
kept up to that, but because it was your traditional show tunes music, it took away from that cuntiness that Mean Girls is.
That's what it was for me, because it's like I said, I have no issue with a musical. I actually love a good musical. I've seen enough Disney movies. But like you said, yeah, it didn't pack the punch because it would dance break. And you kind of almost knew right when it was gonna dance break too. You're like, "Oh, this is so good, dance break."
Yeah.
So that was like what it was. And I have to say the dance numbers in the movie were weird. Like, can we talk about the animal scene dance
I
number?
did not enjoy that.
I didn't
And it's
either.
so interesting because right before it happened, I'm like, "Oh, this is something that's bothering me too. There's no flashes to animal world." And that
Mhm.
was such a key element of the first movie, and we haven't gotten that yet. And then all of a sudden it's a song and I'm like, "I hate this."
It was the only time that they did it too, and I was like, "Oh." So they really kinda took away I feel like they really kinda stripped Katie/Caddy's character, because going into what you're saying here, I miss her narrations of what's going
That
on.
too. Yeah, that's what I told Nicholas. I'm like, the 2 things that they're lacking here are Katie's narrations. She narrates throughout the entire movie. We're hearing her inner monologue. I miss that. And
Same.
then the animal stuff.
Yeah. So that was the first thing that I found kind of jarring. Yeah, like I said, the songs are better suited for Broadway. I think that was because, like you said, the music was show tunes. If they would have vamped it up, maybe made it a little poppier, a little bit more like like a little sassier, it would have
Yeah.
packed a better punch, I think. 'Cause and so that's where I say the translation of the musical to motion picture didn't translate well. Those are definitely like you could watch that production on stage. I don't think it did well on a movie.
Yeah, and I think the music that was in the original kind of is also a key element to it too, like
Mhm.
the "out of bed at the
Yeah.
crack of noon," like that goes with the movie, and yeah, we're missing that now.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, but that specific song, like, for those who had the DVD and stuff, do you remember when if you would, like it would come back and it would just play that
Yes.
song on a loop?
No, there's a reel out right now that it shows, like, POV, it's 3 a.m. and you left your DVD on, and it's that song just looping, and we've all been there.
Oh my
You
god,
just
DVD
wake up
looping
in the
was
middle of the
such a
night.
vibe sleepover. I miss it, but I hate it. Oh my god, I've seen one too where, like, you're at your friend's house and you're trying to figure out how to turn off the TV and you can't figure out how to turn it off, it
Yes.
just keeps looping the song. Such a
Oh
thing.
my gosh, yeah. But
Um,
I will say I really enjoyed Janice and Damien in this film.
yeah.
I really I hate to say this, but I almost liked the way that these characters, Janice and Damien, were portrayed in this movie.
Mhm,
I wanna say even more than in the original. They kinda gave him a little love interest at the beginning,
mhm.
like, the theater nerd, like, waves at him. I thought that was really cute. It gives Damien a little bit more because he was just always that one to drop the iconic lines, and we loved him for that, but I loved seeing a little bit more. And then in the original movie, if you really break it down, Janice is a mean girl, and she admits that, but in this one, it kind of she's more of a likable character,
Mhm.
and I liked that they kinda changed why her and Regina did not like each other.
I'm so
It
glad you were
wasn't
gonna bring it up.
just yeah, they changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I was happy about that too. So I definitely agree that I like that we got more substance to both Janice and Damien because I feel like we really didn't get that. They were framing characters before, and they did a good job, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I like that we got more to their characters in this movie. So that was interesting. And then yeah, I was gonna say, what did I say? Oh yeah, at first I said the new versions of hate between Regina and Janice, and then I said I like that they gave an actual backstory to their like friendship and why it actually like dissipated. Because that was probably one of the things that bothered me the most about the original is like they had this whole like looming Janice Regina hate. And I get that that does happen in like elementary school. Like you hate a girl just because you hate her. Like we did that. That was a thing. Or you just stop being friends, but like not to the point where they were like literally like hating each other so much they couldn't be around each other. Like there's a story there.
Yes. Yeah, that I really liked that they remixed that a little bit. One thing I did not like, they changed up Miss Norbury and Mr. Duval. They like are dating. I didn't
Oh,
like
you
that.
didn't like that?
No, because in the original he's like staring at her tits and she's
Yeah.
like, please stop. And I guess that's like inappropriate. But I that kind of ties into another thing. Like all of the things they took out to like
Mhm.
I don't want to say politically correct because we are in a different time and maybe these things aren't reality, but for us, these things happened. You know, you do have that perverted faculty member in your high
Mhm.
school and um like the cliques. I missed the naming the
Yes.
cliques at the tables. I know there's like race into it, like the cool Asians and the Asian nerds and the unfriendly black hotties, but for us, for our generation, I'm not in high school now, so I can't say, but that was a reality. I remember at my high school, there was a section that people would call Little Mexico, Little Africa. We had Goth City, I think is what we called it. With Prepville, Mormon Corner. Like this is, I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at it, it's like, yeah, I don't know about that, but it was a reality.
Yeah, this that I think that's my biggest problem with the movie. Also, shout out to one line that I just realized was not in the movie. Don't have sex because you will get pregnant and die. There's
Oh
no reason
yeah.
why they didn't have that movie line in there. It
There
should
was
be
a
there.
lot that got cut out that didn't need to.
Yeah, so people may not like this. I feel like the movie was far too woke. I feel like I say this a lot. I don't think this is something that's a surprise to people. I feel like we take it too far sometimes, being a little bit too woke. It causes problems, and I feel like it almost kind of brings us backwards because we're batting a hand at every little thing. And it's like, where can we progress if we can't even progress at all? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it
Yeah.
added a staleness to this movie by doing that.
I'm grateful
Sorry, I didn't
that
mean to
they
cut you off.
weren't like oh, no, 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 you didn't. Like, I don't feel like it was too woke in the sense that it was, like, having to point things out left and right because there are
No.
those television programs, but it cut out a lot of things that probably were due to, like, social climates that we have
Right.
currently, and it again, it takes away from the cuntiness, like, like the whole we have a new student from Africa and she says welcome and she says I'm from
Jumbo.
Michigan like yeah, we should not just assume that the black person in the classroom is our new student from Africa. But these things were realities.
Yeah.
And
I
it I don't know, that was like the thing, like it was so relatable because these inappropriate things do happen and we weren't pretending that they didn't.
And I guess that's what I say when I say wokeness, because like I said, like there is nothing wrong with being aware of the things that were incorrect and changing them. I get that like that's our whole like debate with boomers, right? That they won't change. So don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, change is good. I am happy with the change. But like you said, this is where the staleness is coming from, is that this is a reality and we're kind of trying to button it up in this cute little package that this is how things are, and that's just not the case. And I think that's why us as millennials we're like, you're wrong, this is not how it is.
Yeah, and I feel like too in musicals, specifically in Broadway musicals, things are of reality.
Mhm.
In Greece, they were getting knocked up, and there it wasn't all rated G, even though that movie is rated, I think, PG or G. It's not. There are some situations in that movie, or what was the other one? Hairspray. Like there was
Uh-huh.
an element of racism that they dealt with
Yeah.
in um what's the one? West Side Story.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say
Like
West Side
that.
Story, but I didn't wanna be wrong because I feel like that's the most well-known musical, and I was like, "I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do it."
I just dropped the name out of my brain, but West Side Story, like, that one had
Okay.
gangs, and that did not have a happy ending, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
hadn't seen it before, and I went to go see that version in the theaters, and I went by myself, regrettably, because I'm sitting there crying at the end, and I'm like, "What the hell? I thought this was supposed to be a happy movie that I could
Oh,
just,
no.
like, enjoy the music and the acting," and it was really sad.
No.
But that's the reality of plays, like, they're not all happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, and again, yeah, that's probably why it's not translating. They could have done more editing to make it a movie, and I think that's the thing too is, like, I was hopeful for Tina to make those edits to make it more fun and campy in a movie aspect, because she had done that
Yeah.
already once, and she's, you know, SNL, she's a comedian, like, she gets, like, film. So I figured that would
Yeah.
be her strong suit.
So
Uh,
maybe film is her strong suit, but musicals not so much.
yeah, and I
I don't know.
get I was gonna say, because 'cause isn't the whole point sorry, I did not mean to cut you off. Go ahead, finish
Oh,
your
no, 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 you did it. You
Okay.
did it.
Sorry. I have a habit, guys. I'm also drinking coffee, and sometimes I'll just, like, talk, 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 talk.
Well, we
Um,
also have the lag, like, we have this lag with the software we use, so sometimes I have to, like, do some serious editing, otherwise we look so rude to each other, but we're not, we're just dealing with technical difficulties.
can you imagine? We were just that rude, we just talked over each other all the time, we, like, didn't care. I'm like, "That's great that you're finishing a sentence, don't care."
I have 2 friends that do that, and, they both, I think it's ADHD they both, like, deal with,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they just talk over each other, and they'll get off topic, and I love watching them because they somehow manage to get back. Shout out Felice and Bettina if you're listening, like, they always manage to circle back to where they were, but they go off on tangents and talk over, it's fascinating.
I love that. No, that's me. I do that to Eric, my poor boyfriend. He'll tell me something and I'm like, "That's really cool you're telling me that. I'm gonna tell you about this," and then I'll, like, come back around. He's like, "We had no reason for that conversation." So 2 ADD or ADH people? Oh my god. Reality TV, anyone?
No, it's so fascinating. It's so funny.
I love it.
But yeah,
See, at least they remember their points. I don't.
I didn't hate this movie. I say, like you said, it's a standalone is what we
Mhm.
have hope for. And I think this is a musical for Gen Z to enjoy. But at the same time, I am not a Gen Z. I don't know what they're interested in. So I don't know if this pertains to them. I felt like I was watching one of those Netflix Gen Z teeny bopper movies the whole
Yes.
time.
Okay. So it's interesting. I have, like, 3 thoughts based off of that. So one preface and say that I really didn't hate this movie. It wasn't terrible. Um, would I, like, go out of my way to watch it again? Probably not, but it was good for what it was. 2, the one thing I really did hate though is that they didn't do another script. Like, instead of, like, our
Yeah.
biggest pain point is that they took a lot of stuff out. Also, it's weird to watch a script that you're anticipating another line for, and you don't know if it's gonna be there or not. I think that's the weirdest part about it.
That's what I was saying because I was watching it. Nicholas was home while I was watching it, and he's like not understanding like my issue, and I'm like, I know this movie line by line. You've seen me sit here and say line for line the entire 90 minutes or however long this movie is,
Mhm.
and I had to break it down. I'm like, okay, let's take American Dad. You know every line of those episodes. Imagine someone coming in and taking Roger's line and changing it. Like
Mhm.
I had to like bring up a metaphor for this.
But
I'm like,
seriously, yeah.
I'm expecting them to say things and they're not.
Yeah, so that I think that's what really is the biggest pain point of the movie is that it invokes the same script. and I wish it didn't because it could be a better standalone, and I feel like more people would appreciate it if it had its own script. And it's not to
Yeah.
say Tina Fey couldn't write a good script again. She's funny. She wrote the original one, and like she could have a team of writers help her. I think that's the biggest problem we're having as millennials is that it's hard for us to like it when it's trying to play so much off of the original one to the point that it is the original one, but modified.
Yeah. Like, I hated when she said, "I've been homeschooled," and then she's like, "Oh, so you're taking away from my union." I'm like, "That is not what Miss Norbury says. What?"
Yeah, I'm like, that was weird. They took a lot of pieces out of the movie. I mean, thinking about it now, I mean, for reference, I watched it today, guys, so it's like fresh, fresh, fresh in my brain. So like as I'm thinking, I'm literally like remembering things that did or didn't happen. So many things did not happen. There was no like there
Yeah.
can we point out we talk about this a lot. There were no mall scenes. They didn't go to the mall at all.
I hated that, yeah, when Taylor Wardell and they just handle it at the in the field outside of the school. I'm like, "No, we need our water fountain with the animal scene," and
Right?
her calling Planned Parenthood didn't happen.
I know it's and also
She
calling
just
collect
snapped her fingers.
or calling 411, not calling collect 411.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Like,
calling collect.
I guess 411 is a little outdated, but
Is it
there
though? It's
could have been
information. Does it still exist?
but you can Google things with your smartphone now.
Yeah, but
And
if
that
it's
was a thing too.
yeah.
They had the TikToks and whatnot in this movie, which I hated. I hate when movies do that, or I hate when they put the text messages on the screen, especially as I'm getting older because I cannot read them to save my life because it's so tiny.
Just felt like it was lazy transitioning that they just didn't want to fill the time with, and that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I hated it. You had brought something up that made me think of something else. Oh, yeah, like taking full parts out.
Mhm.
When they're doing the whatever song it was, the Jingle Bell Rock that was not Jingle Bell Rock. After that
Yes.
performance, she says, "Stop trying to make fetch happen." That happens later in the movie, which leads to Gretchen doing her Julius Caesar monologue. That did not happen.
Mhm. Yes. Gold hoop earrings didn't happen. The whole there were no girl bathroom scenes, and I've gotta say that's a little weird to me. The girls aren't going to the bathroom and chatting still? We
The
did
only
that.
one happened, which this was a change I liked, but the only one that I saw was at the very beginning when she's eating alone in the bathroom
Yep.
stall and Janice and Damien go find her. They changed that up a little bit, but I did like that because it showed that they were kind people.
Yeah, I liked that too. But yeah, not many girl bathroom scenes, but I guess that's because we can just text each other and voice note now. I feel like that's lazy. People still go to the bathroom and chat and put your makeup on. That's still a girl thing.
Yeah, they're in high school. I feel
Yeah.
like yeah, you still gotta talk in person in high school. And okay, speaking of that scene though, she's like, "My name's Katie," and she's like, "I'm gonna call you Caddy." And it's like the
Yeah.
whole point of her calling her Caddy is her name is spelled Cady,
Yeah,
not
because she asks her and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call you Caddy."
yeah, that was the whole point. And they left that element out of this movie.
I think our bit like really it's just the fact that they tried to implant the original movie with these new actors and actresses. Again,
Yes.
it's just because of the Broadway getting shut down for the pandemic and stuff that they wanted to do something else with it, right? That's essentially why the movie got made. That's what I heard.
I have no idea. I
I
have
could
no
be way
idea.
off base.
That's
That's what I
news to
heard.
me. So speaking of new actresses and actors, did you have any thoughts on any of them?
Okay. So I had thoughts. I saw that the mom was the girl from The Office.
Oh, yeah, Busy Phillip.
No, no, no. Katie's mom is the girl from The Office.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Um,
watch The Office,
it's
so
okay, me neither.
I obviously I know who she is because I just watched this movie, but I wouldn't recognize her from The Office.
Only reason I know is just because I've seen her pop up a few times on certain things. But yeah, so the mom for Katie is from The Office, which I thought was interesting. What I thought was weird is they just took the dad away. Like, she's
I
like, "No
know.
dad, bye." Like,
Are they not allowed out when they're grounded? Like, what happened to that?
yeah, I know. I miss that.
Me too.
So, that was weird that they made the mom single. I'm like, "Okay, I guess go off queen."
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, but also, like, what did it didn't add anything to the show at all or movie, and it also didn't take anything away. It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, and I will admit I fell asleep for a little tiny bit, but it was just in like 2 weeks of October because I remember October 3rd happening, and then when I
Mhm.
woke up, Regina is in her song as she's stealing Aaron Samuels, which is
Oh,
Halloween because Katie's an axe wife. So I know I didn't sleep through that much,
you
but
didn't.
I remember Regina's mom also having 2 parents in the house that were not sleeping in the same bed, which
Yeah.
caused a lot of friction. Kylie was gone. S
Mhm.
so, that was an interesting take too. It was just her and her mom.
Wait, no. I think when they wait, the only reason I say when they were taking pictures for Spring Fling, wasn't the dad taking the pictures? Because remember Busy Phillips
Okay.
goes in and starts taking pictures too, like she's the one going to Spring Fling.
Okay.
So
Okay,
maybe he
maybe I
was
missed that
there.
then,
That was the
because
but you're right,
they
because
just
up
didn't
until
talk
that
about
point.
him much.
Yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, they don't bring him much up in Mean Girls. They were fighting in Mean Girls?
Yeah, because Gretchen says, like, her parents aren't sleeping in the same bed, if that's what you're asking. Pretend you didn't hear that.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. I thought there was like a scene for some
Oh,
reason.
no, no, no. There
Uh
was just talk about it.
yeah. So yeah, it was definitely a feminist piece. It was definitely like the men were on the back burners. Busy
Oh,
Phillips, I
yeah.
think, did a really good job though of like the mom because I feel like the that's like a cheer mom or like a like living
Mhm.
vicariously through their kid mom. Like I've seen a mom like that.
Yeah, Busy Phillips did great. I like her, so I was happy to see her take on that role.
I'm trying to think who else did we get? They changed up Coach Carr, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah,
was like
they
a
the
different guy.
only existing people were, Tim Meadows and Tina Fey were the only
Okay.
2. I've gotta say, no one cover me, but I like this new Karen better than Amanda Seyfried's portrayal. I thought she was hilarious.
No, she was
Like,
super funny.
the look she got on her face, like, she had the squint they were, like, big but squinty at the same time, her eyes, like, and, like, her mouth was open, like, she looked confused all the time. I thought she was hilarious.
You know what? I will agree. I will agree with you on that. She did a really good job. And I honestly, of the dance numbers, I think her dance number for Halloween was the funniest and the cutest.
Yeah,
I really liked hers.
I really liked her as Karen. Gretchen, I've gotta say, I did not like her compared to Lacey Chabert.
Yeah.
Um, she was like Lacey Chabert portrayed Gretchen as like I don't know, like she had a big mouth, but she tried to be nice.
Mhm.
Where she was just kind of a bitch. But on the flip side of that, I do have to say that is more realistic of a person who's like the right hand man of a queen bee
Yeah.
in a clique. That is what you're going to see more of because they are extremely insecure. If you're coming into their group, they're going to feel threatened by you because they want to be the queen bee's favorite. So
Mhm.
they nailed that, but I did not like the character.
Yeah, I think they kind of weakened Gretchen more as a character, like in this movie.
Yeah.
Like you said, yeah, she definitely and I get it. Yeah, it was definitely more realistic. That's the biggest problem is the realism of it. That's why she's so her hair's so big, it's full of secrets. I'm glad they kept that line.
Yeah. Oh my god. If they had left that one out, they would have failed this whole movie. But yeah, she was more of just a mean girl versus that secret knower. Like,
Yeah, she didn't have like I to point that out. Yeah, actually, she didn't have that many secrets. Like what she knew was what everyone else knew. It wasn't like she found things out first.
yeah, and they like Lacey Chabert just did that where she'd just be like rambling and then she says someone's secret and she's like, Bridget, you didn't hear that, and it was like,
Yeah,
oh, she's got all these secrets, but they kind of slip out sometimes. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different take. It was more accurate, I will say that, but I did not enjoy it as much.
Yeah, that's the problem. When you take the cuntiness away, this is what you get.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
there was a line they took out that really pissed me off. It's when he says, "Oh, hell no, I did not leave the South Side for this." And he says grad school, and I'm like, dude, that just took out the funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say he said the line, and I was like, I was waiting for the line because I knew it was coming, and then when he said it, I was like, did I just miss the line hitting hard, or was something off? I couldn't even tell what he had done. So I was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, because I think because I was focusing so hard on everything at that moment, I was like, that didn't sound right, but I don't know what the right words are. And then I was like, what else
Yeah.
is going on?
And I hated that they changed all the, like, things written in the book, like, made
Yeah.
out with a hot dog,
Yeah. Where was Amber D'Alessio?
like
Yeah, I knew her name.
I hated that, but and the one they keep is, like, the grossest one,
Yeah.
the tampon one. It like, I'm sorry, but that's not like, that one is not that bad. I get the whole Trang Pak, and they kept Trang Pak as a grosky little biatch,
Yeah.
um,
And
but
then
her I think it was her friend that made out with Coach Carr, and they were
yeah,
fighting over her. If they took that out, I can get that one. I can understand why to take that one out, but
fair.
it's a reality, though. I mean, I had girls having affairs with teachers when I was in high school. We would hear those stories. Like, I'm telling you, Mean Girls was very realistic for our time in high school.
It was. Is it the realism? There was something about it that was just more entertaining to watch too. I don't know. I'm trying to
Yeah.
put my finger on what that real difference is.
I think it is it's just like the realism from at least our time. I can't speak on what it's like to be in high school now.
Yeah.
Um, and the cuntiness of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think those combined just made it what it was.
That's true. And this is again, like I've said this and I stand by, but this is what happens when you remake stuff. And I don't
Mhm.
think you can see it as clearly when you remake stuff, but it's different. But when you can make it virtually the same but slightly different, you really can break down what about it is like not working.
Yeah. I
Uh,
would be curious to think what Gen Z thinks of this movie because I think it's definitely targeted more towards them,
mhm.
but we see Gen Z really shifting towards our nostalgia for their trends, and even our movies and stuff is what they're watching, our music's what they're listening to. So I'd be curious what they'd think of the comparison as well.
Yeah, I'd be curious if they even honestly care, to be totally honest, because I feel like while this was technically targeted or aimed towards their age group, I feel like the movie itself was targeted towards millennials because they knew we would be the main people trying to watch it or at least go to theaters and try to see it. I wonder if 'cause what you bring up is interesting because I wonder if they would care or if it's one of those like, "Oh, that's a millennial thing, we don't care at all," type of thing. Lindsay Lohan being the moderator of
Oh, yes.
the mathletes, like
I loved that. So I remember when the trailer came out, I was so curious if they would have any cameos, and then I
Uh-huh.
kinda just gave up on it with the, commercials coming out. I figured maybe they wouldn't, and then when I saw her, I was like, "Thank you, like, this is perfection."
Yeah, I was like, "This is what we needed."
And then they say, what do they say? "We have a tie, this has only happened
One other
once
time.
before." I
Yeah,
loved that nod.
that was so cute. And then when she's like, "We don't have to fight, we don't have to" "Shut up, slut." So funny to me. I don't know why, I
I
was like, "That's good."
yeah. I really enjoyed that. I love that she's made a comeback. She went to Dubai, got her life together, got her health together, and is just thriving now. I love it so much.
Right, because she's married and has a kid now, right? Or she just
Mhm.
has the kid? Are they married?
Yeah, they're married.
Oh, yay, good for her. Yeah, she's just
Yeah,
thriving, living her best life now.
yeah. I'm so happy for her.
I stan her. I love her. Um,
Yes. Well, did you have anything else?
oh yeah. Can we talk about Aaron Samuels not being cute, like, at all?
Okay, that's not just me. So he got casted because Tina Fey was like, "Oh, he's cute. We've got to get him on." No, like I remember, okay, it took me years to find out that Jonathan Bennett was gay.
Same.
Let me tell you the heartbreak and disappointment I felt when I learned that Aaron Samuels would never be into me, even though like I'm never gonna meet him in my life. But like
But he was
he was a
cute.
little stud. He was
Yeah.
so cute.
Who is
His
this
hair looks
guy?
sexy pushed back. His hair looks sexy normal. Like, yeah.
Who is this kid? I saw him and I was like, absolutely get it the fuck out of here. I was like, "Who is this
Yeah.
guy?" Is it our age? Is it our age?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, is this maybe, but I've always been that way to where I'm not into what most girls are into.
Mhm.
And I do like darker features, so the light eyes wasn't really my cup of tea either. So maybe that's,
Yeah.
I don't know, but he was not my Aaron Samuels.
Yeah, no, that was yeah, so no to him, and then okay, let me see. My phone keeps, like, locking up, that's why it's, like, taking me 5 seconds to, like, open it back up again. Um, these numbers, go back to it. That's pretty much it for the most part. I mean, luckily, they kept Kevin G for the most part the same,
Oh, thank you. You reminded me. I need to talk about that.
oh, yes.
So his last name is not Napor in this.
No, it's, like, something
And
else.
they changed, it's like Gaputha or something. Sorry, I know I just messed that up, but it was
It's
something
okay.
else. There was no need to change it. And they changed the rap. You know
That made
how
me mad.
foolish I felt when I'm like, from my names to my, nope, that's not what you're saying. Oh shit. Like, I'm
I
gonna
didn't
shut
even
up
say
now.
anything. You know what's crazy? I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my god, they're not gonna change the rap on this." Because the first 2
They
lines,
did.
I was like, "Huh, huh,
They freaking did.
ah."
I was so upset. And then Mr. Duvall gets like super upset over it. And it was
Inappropriate.
hilarious when he's like, "That's enough, Kevin." Like
Yeah.
that's all he had to say. And it was just like, here he goes again. Like that was funny, but then he just got way too irate in this version, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was poor guy's tired. He's like, "I don't even wanna be playing a principal anymore. Forget actually doing this.
Yeah.
I'm too tired." No, the whole talent show was interesting to me because okay, like, very funny how they had Damien sing iCarly, the
I
theme song
loved
in French.
that. I
Very
loved that.
funny. Because at first I'm like, "What is he singing?" But I
But,
missed
like, that was on brand for him because he was in French class and he liked French, like, the
yeah.
whole Beyoncé type thing,
Yeah.
like, that was like, Damien was really into learning French, so that made sense, and then once they're like, "That was Damien singing the French version of the iCarly theme song,"
I
I
lost
cracked up
it.
at that, and I didn't even watch iCarly, but I thought it was hilarious.
I had no idea, and I almost wanted to go like, I almost rewound back just to, like, look at it again and be like, "They just fooled me. Like, how did they do that?" Um, but I missed his original, like, "Don't look at
Yeah, that's so when they showed him on the screen, I'm like, "Oh, here we go," and then he didn't say that, and I was like, "Oh, okay," and then he's doing French, and I'm like, "Okay, this is part of his character, so I'll let
yeah,
this slide," and
yeah,
then once they announced what it was, I'm like, "That's hilarious, I do approve of this change."
that was good. So, yeah, the whole talent show really got jumbled up, honestly, because like, we already talked about Kevin G, his whole rap, and then "Rocking Around the Pole."
Yeah, okay, I thought the lyric was kind of funny because 'cause they're, the dance
Yeah.
and stuff, but it was like the whole thing was a tradition. They did the Jingle Bell Rock every year, and Janice was the one that choreographed it, and they stole that from her. Like,
Mhm.
it was a whole thing, and then I don't know. Also, I will say, that reminded me on Renee Rapp when she was singing "I'm Regina George," there was a part where she, like, fills herself up,
Uh-huh.
and I had some thoughts on that. I don't hate it for her. I think she's freaking phenomenal. Like,
Mhm.
I listen to her music. She's very talented. I don't know if Regina George is the right role though for at
Oh.
least that.
Mhm.
Um, it was very show tunesy.
Yeah,
Maybe is my thing. But I could see her being like a great Jessica Rabbit doing stuff like that.
you are
Like
so right.
I I almost want to say she's too good to play Regina.
She is to an extent. I see what you mean. Yeah, she has stage presence. And not to say that she doesn't have like a quality to being on camera because she clearly does. She's gorgeous and she stands on her own. But I think what you're saying stands true. Like she needs a role that is as much stage presence as something like a Broadway show because she needs to stand alone. I think as a clique and as having all those people around her, it really kind of took away from her and what she can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But speaking of that song, you reminded me of what I forgot to write it down, but I kept thinking it every time the song is like, my name is Regina George, and I am what does she say? And I am she what is the lyric? I'm trying to think of it now. Like shit. Hold on.
I
I
don't
have a
know.
point.
I only watched the movie once, so I have no idea.
Oh, okay, sorry. Duh. She says, "My name is Regina George and I'm a massive deal." However,
Oh, yes.
all I hear because it has such a long pause is it goes I think in my head, "My name is Regina George and I am a massive whore." I don't know why my head does it every time.
No, I think I thought that or something else too, but I didn't like she holds that deal, she stretches it out, and I'm like, "What is she saying right now?" And then she pulls the tongue up for the L, and I'm like, "Oh, deal. Okay." But
Oh,
yeah, I was like, "What is she trying to say?"
oh, you haven't graduated to becoming a millennial with subtitles because I can't watch my TV without them.
I don't unless I'm watching a foreign show, I cannot. I I wanna watch TV, I don't wanna read.
Sometimes I can't pick up on what people are saying, so that's why I throw them on for everything now because, like, you never know what someone's gonna say. I'm like, "What did they just say?"
See, I'm the one that has their TV cranked up to, like, 50.
Oh, yeah. No, mine's quiet, actually. That's so funny. I would rather have my TV quieter and then pop a subtitle on than, like, have it blasting at me. Because then I get like,
I've
when it gets loud, I
yeah,
get
I've
scared.
always had to do that because 'cause I've always had hearing issues ever since I was, like, 6 or 7,
Oh,
but, so I've just always been a very loud volume kid.
that's fair. Yeah.
So, one day.
Yeah, don't
So
if you're joining us, that's a whole other set of problems, honestly. And I feel
yeah.
like it's my ADHD, ADD. I have not officially been diagnosed, but I swear I've got some version of it because I can't focus for crap. But it's what keeps me in tune with what's going on too. Because 'cause I'm like, "What's going on?" And I can read again before it goes away. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's what's going on."
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so sorry, to circle back as one does, yeah, that line should be, "And I'm a massive whore," because that's what I think it should be. Even though she's not, I'm not saying she is, it just rhymes, and that's what I think the line should
It
be.
would be funny.
Would be funny.
Alright, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We just had to get this out, and I was like, "Let's just do a bonus podcast because this is very nostalgic, and we thought our listeners would enjoy." And be sure to, if you're watching on YouTube, comment below and tell us what you thought of the movies, if you've seen them, and if you are listening elsewhere, you can, uh, DM us or email us, and we will chat. We love to chat, so let us know your opinions as well. But I think I'm going to release this on Wednesday, what we're recording. So we will catch you tomorrow for our special St. Patrick's Day. We're talking about cereals of the 90s with Lucky Charms and then the luck of the Irish. So don't miss out. Be sure to subscribe if you are not already. And we'll catch you tomorrow.
And if you guys haven't caught up on Luck of the Irish, catch up before tomorrow.
Yes, watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.